This is about the people of Mississippi and what's important to the people of Mississippi. Tonight in this victory, the reason we won is because Mississippians know me and they know my heart.
That's Republican Senator-elect Cindy Hyde-Smith winning a decisive victory in Mississippi last night. She defeated Democrat Mike Espy and locked down the GOP majority in the Senate, despite backlash over a controversial video which surfaced late in the campaign. On that video, Hyde-Smith was overheard saying she would be willing to attend a public hanging if she were invited by a top supporter. Democrats and civil rights leaders said it was racist. The senator said it was a joke. This photo from 2014 also surfaced, showing Hyde-Smith posing with Confederate artifacts. She called it a tribute to Mississippi's history. The controversies leading to new accusations now that perhaps her voters may have been complicit in what they say electing a white nationalist. Watch.
Cindy Hyde-Smith is a racist, a white nationalist, a white supremacist, and it is a shame that white Mississippians would exonerate her in advance and excuse her for the intimidating hatred that she expresses.
Bringing in now Pastor Darrell Scott, CEO of the National Diversity Coalition for Trump. Professor Jason Nichols, African-American Studies professor at the University of Maryland. Pastor, I want to begin with you. Those are incendiary terms, to call someone a white nationalist, to call them a host of names. Do they apply here?
Every election season, there's this hypersensitivity towards racial issues by black candidates. If they win, it's a good win. If they lose, it's because of racism. When they're black Democratic candidates, whenever they lose, they play the race card, especially in the South. However, when the black Republican candidates lose, we just take our loss and we go on about our business and we get ready for the next one. So I think it's overblown, overstated. That is something that has become a norm in this country, that every time there are black and white candidates, if the black candidate loses, we cry racism, and I don't think that's right.
Professor Nichols, what's your response?
Well, I think it's clear. First of all, I would like to say that, you know, as Mike Espy said, and I think Mike Espy said it really well, I don't know what's in Cindy Hyde-Smith's heart, but I do know what came out of her mouth. It was offensive. We had 581 black bodies that look like the three people on this panel right now that were lynched in Mississippi, and it was very offensive for her to say those things and also to support voter suppression and many things that affect African Americans today. So I think it's really important that she acknowledged this, and we have to understand James Meredith, for example, who desegregated the University of Mississippi, Ole Miss. He's 85 and he is still alive. The people, that means that the people who are trying to kill him are also still alive, and they're voting, and they probably voted, they didn't vote for Mike Espy, I can promise you that. They voted for Cindy Hyde-Smith because she sent them all kinds of messages that basically said that we agree.
I want to slow you down just a little bit. I talked with the senior senator from the state of Mississippi, Roger Wicker, today. And Professor Nichols, you know, he made a good point. He said that you don't have to turn yourself away, and I'm going to paraphrase him here, turn your eyes away from the violent history that has happened in that state to also understand that she made a mistake. I'm going to ask you the question, is there room for both?
Well, again, I think if she had just said made one gaffe regarding race, I would
need a quick yes or no.
I would say no.
All right. I want to go back to you now, Pastor Scott, to get your response.
Let me say this. You know, once again, this hypersensitivity towards racism is prevalent in all of these recent elections. Ron DeSantis said the term monkey up, and all of a sudden, oh, he's talking about black people. She said, I would attend a public hanging. Oh, we're talking about black people. Anything that's said by these candidates is not precisely and necessarily referring to black people. We're taking it that way, and we're taking it that way simply for political purposes. If it wasn't election time and that was said, the offense wouldn't be there. And so we're trying to use any gaffe by hyper scrutinizing everything that comes out of these candidates' mouth to see if there's something that we can say is racist so we can use it to try to win an election. That's simply what the Dems playbook is. It's been their playbook. Every 4 years, it's pin the racist on the Republican. That's what they do. That's the game plan, but it's not working.
Does it move us forward, Pastor?
We can move forward. You know why? Because America is getting tired of it on both sides. Americans are not stupid. We have common sense. We can see when someone is trying to take something and use it for political purposes. It's not flying. That's why it doesn't have the traction now that they wanted to have. Michael Eric Dyson and these guys like that, they're race baiters. If we achieve racial harmony in this country, those guys would be out of business. I want to send them a box of cheese to go with that wine that they do every time a black candidate loses an election. It's all this wine.
Professor,
we need to stop that.
You're silent.
Yeah, no, I think, Reverend, or excuse me, Pastor Scott has a legacy as well. The legacy of the Mississippi State Sovereignty Committee, black pastors who actually worked against the civil rights movement. I think that, we saw what legacy, you said. Brother. That's absolutely your legacy.
I grew up in the civil rights movement. What you read about,
well, you certainly aren't representing your past very well. You certainly aren't representing. And let me tell you something. What happened?
You're full of it. How about that?
Well, here's the thing. What happened in other states, in Florida?
Let me tell you something.
All right, somebody has to have the last word here. Pastor Scott,
how old are you, young man? How old are you, young man?
I'm experienced. And I know my people. I know my history.
Let me tell you something. What you read about the history,
you can't take things out of context.
So what you know intellectually, I know experientially, and there's a difference between experiential knowledge and intellectual knowledge.
Both.
So you can't tell me about this. I've been through it. You haven't.
I know both, my brother.
Right, Professor Nichols and Pastor Scott, thank you for your time. We will go back over some issues when we bring you back another time. Thank you.
Thank you.